So for you to get to this point where you have this choice of flexibility or these options where you can fall back on, you must have made a few sacrifices.
I think my first 10 to 14 years was just work. You know, all I did was, I think, long hours, working really hard, um, gaining those experiences, growing in your organization, building credibility, strong credibility for your leadership to know that, you know what, she's got it. You know, you don't have to worry. If there is something that needs to get done, it'll get done. You don't have to follow up saying, oh, when are you working? What time are you working? And all of that, right? So I think sacrifices made, what I always tell people and my team is, your first 10, 15 years of your work life is probably your most productive. You know, work hard then. Don't compromise at that particular time. Give it your best. If it is long hours, I mean, you make that choice. I wouldn't say, you know, anyone working 12, 15 hours is good. I think smart work is better than hard work, definitely. If you're able to do it in 5 hours, please do it. You know, that's the thing. But focus is what I mean. You know, focus on your career. If excelling in career and in a corporate career or in entrepreneurship, whatever your choice may be, if focusing on that is priority, then your first 10 to 15 years of work life is extremely crucial. That's the time where you given your best, you are most energetic at that particular time. Your distractions are a lot fewer, I mean, and your responsibilities are also not to the extent that it would be. Um, so I gave it my best during that time. Took every challenge that came my way, took every opportunity that came my way. So today I'm able to make that choice. Today I'm able to say no to certain things where it I believe it would probably not suit my personal situation or my current situation. And today I'm able to make that choice and make it beautifully because I know what I've done in the past and what has helped.
Valuable lesson for whoever's out there. You talked about the importance of teamwork. Can you elaborate on this a little bit?
See, teamwork in different senses, right? One is you have a team, and like I have a team, and there is work that comes in, and my team comes together. So I have a person who's great with solutioning, this one person who's great with content, one person who's great with finance, commercials, etc. Everybody comes together, and then a solution comes together. So you bring that solution alive through that. That is one part of teamwork. There are other aspects that go beyond your team. You know, you have, in every organization there is an HR department, there is a risk department, there is an IT department, there is commercial department. The bigger impact is when all of these come together towards one common goal. Your common goal is, you have a deliverable that needs to go out. It has to be the best deliverable that you have to offer, and you understand what the client's requirements are when you're creating that. I feel the best output comes where everybody together works on that common goal. You know, rather than, you know, one person working, bringing in the other people. Chinese whispers, right? I mean, a lot of things get lost in translation. So I feel when at least when I work or when my team works on something, we ensure that we have all the critical parties involved right at the beginning. So everyone hears the same thing. You know, nobody is hearing from another person. Everyone hears the same thing, understand what the client requires really, and work towards that common goal. You know, so I think that really helps. And like I said earlier, right? Every individual has points of view. Every individual comes with um, their perspectives, you know, and it is important to understand those different perspectives. Otherwise, it's a very one sided view. And you would be surprised, you know, again, so the organization that I work in today, the other thing that it's taught me is, no idea is a bad idea. You know, it may or may not work for that situation, but bring in all of those ideas, and that's what gives you the most holistic solution that you can offer. So I think teamwork is the way to go. At least that's my perspective.
So you touched upon different personalities. Sometimes people, it could lead to disappointments. How do you deal with these things as a manager or as a leader?
Yeah, disappointments are it's definitely a part of our lives. I think transparency and honesty is what has helped me. Um, if if I know that there's a disgruntled employee, of course, so I make it a point to talk to everyone in my team at least once a month. Okay. And to my directs at least once a week. And the reason that I do this is for me to actually understand what's running in their head. What are they happy about? What are they not so happy about? What is what excites them, what does not. While I understand all of that, that's when I actually bring people together, and the conversations that I have with each of these people, um, be extremely honest about what there is. When I look at their career path, and if you're talking about it, be transparent and honest about what my feedback to them is. Where do I see their career going? What can be done and what cannot be done, and let them make the choice. There is no point in not being transparent with your team. I think that's where you build trust, and when you build trust, I think people there, you get the best out of people. Then I think that's what has helped me so far.
With colleagues who are disgruntled or demotivated, do you do something in order to keep the spirits up?
I do. I mean, I think, see, depends on what is bothering them, right? I mean, so if it is work related, of course, we work with them to understand what will be their interest. So, for example, it could be moving to a different team, doing something completely different, learning something new. It could be it could be actually pursuing a completely different track. So, for example, I had a girl in my team who once came to me and said, I'm just not happy doing what I'm doing. I don't think I'm good at it. Even to help her navigate through what she should be doing, right? I mean, for example, then we realize that her interest actually lies outside of the corporate world. She wants to become a pastry chef, you know, but wasn't able to make that leap at that particular time because of, internal demons that she was fighting. But just to be there more as a confidant and be a friend. See, it's easier said than done. Let To be honest, right? I mean, there are some people who, for example, if money is your motivating factor in a large organization, there's only so much that a manager can do, because all of these are decisions that are taken very centrally, right? Of course, help them as much as I can in that aspect, depending on, being fair to the rest of the team. um, but if it's anything to do with career choices, if it is anything to do with disgruntled because of what the person sees themselves as in the next 3 years, 5 years, is something that we navigate through counseling, career counseling, basically just talking to them about what they do and helping them navigate into that. So that's what we do. Yeah, there would be some disappointments. There are some, they would, our colleagues or our team members will find opportunities elsewhere. Um, yeah, helping them navigate through that as well is an important part of our jobs.
How important is communication within an organization on two fronts, one with the team and two within the team?
Oh, extremely. I think, um, see, so we keep saying, right? I mean, how life was pre COVID and post COVID. So I totally believe you can work from anywhere, and you don't have to be in person all the time. But I also believe, I'm contradicting myself a little bit, I think the human touch is very important. So pre-COVID, we all used to be in office. You had a whole group of people who'd go out for lunch together, coffee together. You build that camaraderie, right? And then you also have post-COVID, where we're only talking to each other on camera or on laptops. Both are fine, but I think communication, to actually understand what's happening professionally and personally in each other's life, to whatever extent there are boundaries in everything, um, and communicating about what's happening, being extremely open about what is happening. Again, like I say, when I say these, you have to understand that everything has boundaries. As long as you're not crossing that particular boundary, either professionally or personally, is a good thing. But I think being together, bringing in, at least talking once every fortnight, having open conversations really help. I think within the team and to the team. Like I said, I believe that I would have individual contribution conversations like one-on-ones with some of my team members. I would also have I'll have team meetings, and I don't believe in having long meetings. It could be a quick 15-20 minute catch up with the whole team, just to understand how's the health of the team, understanding what's happening. Sometimes, when you have large teams, each of them are doing their own thing, and you're completely surprised, about some initiatives that some team member has taken, because they've realized that there's a challenge there, and that team member realizes that, let me pick this up as a project, or let me take this up and I'll do something about it. And these things, it also helps in best practice sharing amongst other people in the team, right? So a person says, what, I realize that there's this challenge here, and I've taken on this project to actually cleanse this particular thing. Other people also want to do something similar, or they will learn that there is something there. There's a lot of cross pollination of people, between two teams within the same thing, or there's a lot of ideas that go back and forth. I think communication is extremely important within the team.
Can you highlight some of your learnings throughout your professional career?
See, there are, I think what is important, and very honestly, if I tell you, right, um, I never, when I was studying, and when I started, before I started my career, I didn't know that I didn't follow a specific job. I didn't have an aspiration in my mind saying, oh, this is what I want to do when I grow up. Like, when people asked me when I was a child, what do you want to do? I also said I want to be a doctor, like everybody else, knowing very well that later I realized I'm not very great at biology, so I could never be a doctor. But I didn't have like a specific path in mind when I embarked on my career journey. What started off as a necessity became a career for me. Okay. So for me at that particular time, my necessity was I needed to bring the money in to the household. That was that was my only motivation to start working. But as I started working there, I realized there's so much that the industry has to offer. Number one, um, of course, it teaches you professionalism and how you need to work. But because I work with different cultures across the world, I've traveled a lot. I mean, I think I've one thing that this career has given me is I've seen multiple countries, different cultures, different work cultures, how each of these cultures work, how these each of these cultures work. I think it's opened my mind out a lot more. I've become a lot more open to embracing and also understanding where people come from culturally. That is one. The third thing is I've realized that where you do your education um, doesn't entirely matter. As long as you have your basics right, and as long as you learn in your job. Okay, so there are people who've done different parts of it. They've done engineering, people who've done um, communication, people who've done arts, people who've done hotel management are all doing the job that we're doing. So the other thing that I've worked with, nothing that we do cannot be learned. It is something, if you put your heart to it, if you put your mind to it, everything can be learned. Everything that we do is commonsensical, and it can be learned and excelled at. So these are two learnings that I've got. Like my shift from core banking to recruitment itself was a example of that, right? I mean, I went there saying, oh my god, I don't know R of recruitment, but I learned it. It's not something that cannot be. So that though, these are two things that I've learned that has definitely taught me how to uh, look at life a little more openly.
Is learning an ongoing process, or does it stop at some
Oh,
point in your
not at
career?
all. I learn every day. I've been doing this role for the last 10 years in different capacities, of course. And I tell everyone today that every deal that I work with, I learn something new. Everything, there are, even today, there's a deal that will come in that will throw a surprise at me, and I will learn through the process. So learning never stops. It is continuous. And I think you can learn till your last days, you will continue to learn.
And finally, for somebody who's starting their professional life, how would you suggest they go about building a solid professional life?
Like I mentioned earlier, I think what is most important is your first 10 to 12 years of your professional life, I think, is the most productive. This is where you understand your strengths, your areas of development. This is where you understand what you like and what you don't like. You would have, there are different roles that you will do at this particular time, and you know that there is some roles that you don't want to do. I mean, this is not where you see yourself. There are some roles that you like to do, and there are some roles that you're okay with. Take risks at this particular time. This is a time that you can, if there is, if you realize that there's a different role that you want to do, and you need to start afresh in your, while you've had like 2 or 3 years of experience in the past, if you, even if you want to start afresh and do it, take that risk, because I think this is what will define you. And do it, and give it your best. Life will happen. Give it your best. I've always felt that, when you, this is what will define what you want to do later on in life. While I say that, I'm not saying that, what, if you don't do anything, you won't be able to do anything after some time. But I feel you're young, your energies are high, you have very less, distractions at this particular time. So make the best of that.
Yes, Kanchana, thank you so much from Resolve and wish you the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm, great to hear from you on this.